The views and opinions expressed on From the Mouths of Madness are that of the panel and not of the Geeks Under the Influence Network or their sponsors, Amazon.com and tpublic.com. Listeners, beware. Coming straight from the Mouths of Madness, I am one of the hosts, Lowdown. With me, as always, is
F.U.Hunter. What's up, you green beer drinking motherfuckers?
yeah, everyone's drinking green beer because
it's green in it.
It's green in it.
Yeah.
So St. Patty's Day. Woo!
Woo! I'm getting drunk on green.
Yay!
Not food coloring and regular shitty ass beer.
I mean, I don't think my beer is shitty ass beer.
But most of the bars, it's like, here's Coors with green shit in it. There you go. So.
Yeah. So tonight we have, I think it's a pretty solid episode. We're going to be speaking to a kind of a across the board for horror fans, and I'm excited about this. And normally, most of the episodes of Madness are generally geared towards people that are, because of the movies we talk about, people that are into horror, like because they know horror. They've either been thinking, like, seen these movies, just haven't watched them yet, or they've actually watched these movies and just want to hear someone else's opinion on it. Tonight, we're going to kind of speaking to the horror fan, who's more of a casual horror fan, knows a lot of the mainstream movies, goes and sees the ones that actually make the movie theater, knows all those, knows all the old school 80s icons and so on and so forth, but might not have anybody else in their circle that can guide them to more deep cuts, but that are actually horror staples in the horror community, as well as people that are fresh to horror and have only seen maybe a few horror movies and want a little guidance there as well. You know, we need to guide each other. As in horror, as in metal, as in any nerddom, there needs to be a guiding light instead of a shunning because, oh, you haven't seen that. Everyone's had that said to them, and
oh yeah,
I feel like this was the perfect episode to have our guest on tonight, and that is Katie of Nerdcropolis.
What's up, y'all? It's Katie, and I also like green beer, and I'm excited to be here. But no, I'm really excited about this topic. This is actually why I do my blog, Nerdcropolis, because I want horror to be approachable and something that everyone can enjoy, and just, like you said, have someone to guide them and just be passionate about it and show them that passion. So I'm jazzed. Happy to be here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just, we've all had somebody tell us something and, like, you know, oh, you haven't seen that? It's like, well, I mean, I kind of don't want to watch it now. You're being a fucking dick.
Right.
Like, fuck you.
You're really excited about this. Yeah.
And like the whole thing is, I'll be honest, like, you know, I was trying to think of a play on, you know, hidden gold and hidden gems and those movies that, you know, again, half the time we're talking to people and they're like, I've never seen that. You're like, we try to calmly react sometimes to certain movies that we are stunned that some people haven't seen. So that's kind of the theme of this.
We are going to guide you to the end of the rainbow, to that pot of gold.
Haha, yes.
Yes. So these will be the hidden gems of not so much, and when we, like you said, we not hidden gems as far as deep cuts of, like, if you're a hardcore horror fan, these are hidden gems for hardcore horror fans. These is just horror movies that are out there that not everybody might know about, but to a hardcore horror fan like everyone on this panel, we know about them. But then we want you to know about them. That's basically it. I mean, everybody who's a hardcore horror fan generally knows these films, but like I said, you just might not have been exposed to them.
Yeah, so I'd say the categories also are the people that might watch movies, and then the people we always see at the horror cons that I think some of the movies we're going to cover in the first, they're going to be like, yeah, I saw that when I was like 8. Like,
no, but that's exactly the response. It's like, no, I saw that when I was 8. But like I said, there's some people who love horror and
absolutely.
Just like, I didn't have some, like, how I found some of these movies that I'm listing is because I had a older friend that I met outside of right after high school, who actually worked at the video store where I hung out at, and he showed me a lot of these movies.
Nice. And
that's how I found them. Like, I would have, no one else I was hanging out with knew that. Like, they liked horror movies, right?
Right.
I liked horror movies. I grew up watching, like, the basics, like the franchises, Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky, all that stuff, as most general horror fans do. And he just brought me all, oh, you haven't seen this? Oh, all right. we're gonna party later and bring this over. Cool. Party later, we'll bring this over. And it was like years of just being fed all this awesome horror shit. And so this is kind of what we're doing for you guys.
I love that. We're going to hold your hand to hell. It's going to be great.
Hold your hand to hell.
You could also say we're just kind of green with envy over, because I'll be honest, sometimes there's some of those movies that when you find out someone hasn't seen it, you're almost jealous. They get to see it for the first fucking time.
I do.
I remember I had an experience where I went to go see a showing of Aliens, and there was these two girls sitting behind me that had never seen Aliens. And they were jumping and they were reacting. And I was like, I'm so fucking jealous because y'all are seeing this for the first fucking time.
Man, I completely agree.
Because you never get that back, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's why, like, it's the first time I'm watching something. I'm very, and I know sometimes it probably comes across as being an asshole, but I'm very much an advocator for like zoning and watching the film. Like for the first time.
Sure, right.
Rewatches, oh yeah, we can fucking talk shit about it. We can do all this stuff. Yeah. I'm not much for commentary on a film the first time watching it.
Oh, you want to be all in.
I want to be all in on it. That's the way I watch movies.
Yeah.
And if there are people I'm watching with that constantly want to interrupt, they eventually hear from me. Because I'm just like...
unless
I don't believe that.
It's a shit fest. It's... If you get to the halfway...
There's a movie
if
that
you get to the halfway point and you go... oh, this is dog shit.
Yeah.
And I know this because I've been in the theater with Steven where then we go, time to start talking shit.
But no, it's
and I'm talking to you. It follows.
No, I totally get that.
It fucking follows. Fuck that fucking. Why you gotta bring up it follows? God damn it.
Because there was that halfway point where I looked at you and you looked at me and we said, fuck this movie. And then we just talked shit for the rest of the movie.
Verbatim.
I love how much you hate that movie.
We literally had like, I mean, it wasn't even like intentional. We just kind of like, boom. It wasn't like I looked over, he saw me look over, and he looked over. It was like simultaneously, fuck this movie, and off to the races.
Yep.
But no, majority of the time, but before that, I was focused. I was like, all right, I'm trying to see what they're doing, see where they're going with.
Right.
You know, I don't want to just automatically shit on something.
Certainly. I appreciate that. Give something a fighting chance.
Exactly.
Then,
you can't
but there
be
is
like,
a point, you're right, where you're like, this is fucking shit.
You can't be 10 minutes in and be like, fuck this movie.
That's
you
right.
At least give it like 30 minutes and then go, oh, this is how the movie's going to go.
okay, here we go.
Now fuck this movie.
Yeah.
But not in a fun way.
Yeah.
More like you were the last thing available. Oh, fuck.
Damn. I love it.
Fuck, it follows. Anyway, so we last minute we kind of decided that it would be kind of cool to break this down into maybe a few small categories with inside these hidden gems. Because let's face it, not all horror fans are the same. I know tons of horror fans that like supernatural. I know lots of horror fans that just like the intense. I know lots of horror fans that are straight gore horrors. That's what feeds them. That's what they get satiated on. And I know tons of horror fans that are straight horror comedy fans. That's
absolutely.
I mean, they'll watch. Now, all these people will watch other horror movies, but when they're like jazzed and fucking stoked, that's the type of movie they talk about.
Yeah.
So we kind of start off on like some lighter ones for the people that like, do love watching horror, but maybe don't like some of the intense kills, and they just kind of like cover their eyes or aren't a big fan of the jump scare, stuff like that. Not too intense, but those movies are also lighter on the side of some of the horror movies that are out there.
Yeah.
So I'll let Katie start off.
Yeah. So I love the way you introduced that, which is that everyone kind of has their own thing. Like they can like the horror comedies or the gore, or the thrillers, etc. So one that I think is really, really awesome for someone who really enjoys just lots of suspense, like sitting there, edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen next, is Hush. So if you remember Hush, it's the one with the girl. She's deaf. She's in her house alone in the woods, and she becomes the target of a masked killer. Mm-hmm. But it is completely, it's not one you're going to be covering your eyes with your hands. It's just thriller, straight up. It's got some great action. So yeah, I'd check that out.
I remember the first time I watched that, it was random. Really random as fuck that I ended up watching it. But I was just surprised. Like, I couldn't imagine the horror being deaf and just not knowing for the longest time there's a stalker.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Right.
Oh, God, because you can't hear shit. You don't know that somebody, like, he's making all this noise in the background in some of the scenes, like, intentionally. And you're like,
it's so fucked
no
up.
idea. That's what I'm saying. It's so fucked up.
I'm going to kill you, waving his hand.
Right.
Hey, like.
But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that, I pronounce your last name right, Kate Siegel?
Yes.
from
Right? Yeah, she's from
Haunting
the
of Hill
Haunting
House?
of Hill House. Yeah, she's awesome.
I believe she
She's
was
the
in
main
season
character.
2 as well.
Yes, she does show up.
She's
in
also
season
married
2.
to the director.
Oh, really? Mike Flanagan?
I believe she's the wife of Mike Flanagan.
I did not know that. Interesting.
Because she's been in a couple. She was in like 2 of his other movies
Yeah,
too.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
that totally makes sense now that you say that. But yeah, she's gorgeous.
Oh, she was
but-
she was in Gerald's Game.
Yes. No, that was Carla
Well,
Gugino.
she
yeah.
was in the main.
She was the mom
Yes, that's right.
in the
That's right.
flashback scene.
Yes. Thank you.
So that
Yeah,
so
you're
she's
totally
in
right.
she's in
She
some
was
of his
probably
stuff.
somewhere in
Yeah,
Dr. Sleep.
yeah.
Come on.
She had to be.
Had
I
to
just
show
didn't
up
notice
somewhere,
her.
for sure.
But
yeah, this is, as a woman, I devour a lot of Lifetime movies, and this is almost like borderline. Like this could just be like a stalker type of movie. So if you're someone who loves that type of thriller, definitely check out Hush. You're gonna love it.
yep.
All right, the one I go with, I'm huge into effects, and 80s effects are some of the best. I went with Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's directed by Stan Winston, who, most of the effects in the 80s, he's responsible for.
Oh,
Yeah,
a fraction of.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was gonna say
As a fan of Aliens, he's
Tom
responsible for
Savini's
Aliens.
responsible for more than him, but okay. I'm just saying, facts, baby.
All right.
Facts. Look him up.
Let's just say of these two makeup guys, the Stan Winston directed movie I appreciate a lot more than the Night of the Living Dead remake. So that Tom Savini directed. So
Okay, but Savini's still better at effects.
all right, I'll give you that.
He has his own
Anyhow.
school. Does he have his own school?
What, Stan Winston?
Yeah.
I believe so.
I've never heard of it nor seen it in the horror community.
All right. Well, we'll find
I'm
it.
just saying. Okay.
But it came out in 1988. Father Lance Henderson plays his father. These dumbass fucking teenagers kill his kid.
It's so sad. It's a
And-
really sad scene.
I got to go back to that one fucking shot of the look he gives them.
I know, it's that. Oh,
But
the despair in his eyes.
to me, I just see rage. I
Yeah.
don't see despair. I see like, killing you would not be enough. That's what I see in his eyes.
I like that, yeah.
What do I do without me actually killing you?
Yeah.
Could I bring about this giant fucking creature and just, that makes a weird locust sound when it
that
fucking
sound
kills
is
you?
weird.
And
I
you
love
know
it,
what?
though.
I love
I
it
love
too.
it.
I love it.
That sound just adds so much. Like the
Yeah.
thing
Does.
already
Yeah.
looks so fucking like
Yeah.
monstrous and it's gonna rip you to
Just
shreds.
bizarre.
But you hear that sound and you're like, and you like hear it before you see it sometimes. You're like, yeah, you're fucked. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
outside real quick and check, and you're like, oh, look a sound, you're fucking dead. So.
I hate that movie is overlooked because it's
I don't
so
understand how it
great.
still is.
I don't know.
Like,
yeah.
and we're talking overlook. We mean in the hardcore horror
Yeah.
community.
Yes.
Like,
we.
how
love
was it
Pumpkinhead,
overlooked?
Well, yeah,
but it still
it didn't
does.
do great at the
Yeah.
box office, and I mean, I know there was a sequel, but it just not really. It just never got the attention that
Yeah.
it should have. Like, and
Agreed.
especially some of the kills are really great, and just the creature looks fucking amazing.
The effects are
so-
incredible.
This feeds like if you're into monsters side of horror. This definitely feeds that the creature feature aspect. Not a lot of gore. Really, there's some blood dripping from like I think 2 of the kills, but it's not overly gory. And I mean,
Good revenge story.
good
If you're someone that
suspense,
loves revenge,
build up
and-
of the chase
Yeah.
is there.
And I know I've already mentioned Aliens a couple times, but I mean, it's got Lance Henderson, so I
Yeah.
mean, like he's fucking awesome in this movie. So
And it does for a horror movie, like it's a good representation of tugging at the strings.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Because they do a great job of showing the relationship for being a single father and just his boy out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And they're all they've got, and it definitely brings some emotion to a horror film, which a lot of people don't think you can really have. Still, sometimes.
Very true. Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go with more of a fun one, but it's definitely a light one. Well, unless you have some phobias, but Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Ah, yes.
I feel like
I knew
that's
you were gonna
one.
do that one.
I just feel like that one again, not gory.
No.
I mean, somebody gets killed by a shadow puppet, basically. What the fuck? All right? I mean, it's just,
If you think about the cotton candy, I mean,
was gonna
it's sort of gory. Like,
I mean, all you see is a straw getting stuck in there. You don't see anything coming out of it.
well, yeah, I mean, when they rip the cotton candy, you see someone's face, and then you see the straw. So that's sort of gory.
It is.
That's
it's sort of
but that's
gory.
the closest you get in that
Exactly.
movie.
Yes. Yes.
And I mean, you still get a monster feature because at the end you got this giant fucking clown.
You do have decapitation. I forgot about that.
Oh,
the
you
little
do.
tiny
Yeah,
clown.
little
The
tiny
guy's like,
clown.
"What are you?" and then punches his head off. But it's so comical because
It's
it's
so
just
silly.
his head
And,
flying.
and you
off.
got the shitter clown.
That's
Don't
true.
forget little shitter snake clown.
Yep.
And you got the pizza clown. It's like Dick in a box, but it's like the clown in a pizza box.
That was great. Yes.
And the thing you always have to like give people a heads up on, especially if you go on Prime and Netflix, you get bombarded by just generic ass, especially after these generic ass clown horror movies
all over the place.
But this is legit. This came out in what, 88?
It was 88.
Yeah,
88.
But it's OG. It's fun. It's got some funny just kills and everything like that. But it's one of those. Just don't be thrown off with it having clown in the title, since again we're getting bombarded now with so many fucking clown horror movies.
Yeah, exactly. 88 there wasn't a lot out then. I don't really think there was much of any back in 88.
Yeah.
So this was OG original written, and aliens come to this small town and their spaceship looks like a diamond until it lands, and it looks like a fucking circus tent.
Big old circus tent, yeah.
And it's amazing.
It's amazing.
And then from there, just ridiculousness ensues. I mean, it's just hilarity.
And the clowns are almost cartoonish, and they're they're oversized, their outfits, their makeup. It's incredible. Each of them have their own personality. It's just amazing. The town itself kind of has a personality. So you got to check that one out. Essential.
And you've got a theme song written by the Dickies. So if you're a punk fan,
yeah, the song is incredible.
Yeah. They wrote it just for that movie. I was like, oh yes, that's so fucking rad.
It's a great song.
Yeah, but it definitely lighter on the side of things.
Nice. So, are we sticking on lighter still?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, I think for people who really love horror comedies, or even if they I have friends who love zombies. They love The Walking Dead, but they're not really into horror per se, but they've seen Zombieland. One that it just came out recently in the last 5 years is Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, which is just a really fun, funny movie, lighthearted, great story, really good acting. Fun plot, just great characters. It's just fun. It's just a fun movie to watch.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It took me a while to watch that. I feel like it'd been out for 3 years. I don't feel like I watched it till the early 2019, or maybe it was late 2018. But I was like, fuck. Oh,
yeah, it was
it's
so much better
fun.
than you think. Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one that I think is really palatable for that very casual, and maybe you might argue this could be for a more mainstream horror fan, but I think this is a good entree for the really casual horror fan who's just trying to dip their toes into horror comedy.
And especially zombie too.
Yeah, and so if you like zombies, right.
We have a lot of there's the zombie genre has a lot more of the comedy in it.
Right.
As opposed to
yes,
others.
It does lean towards that. Yeah.
And I think that's a good avenue to the serious zombie movies.
Absolutely.
So I completely agree.
Yeah. For sure. So yeah.
So another one I throw out there, and again, it shocks me to even bring up this movie that people have not seen this, but I'm going to actually throw both of them out there: Creepshow 1 and 2. So
for sure,
because and some people are just turned off because first Creepshow is early 80s, and we brought it up on a couple other podcasts where sometimes just people getting into stuff are like, oh, 80s, early 80s, I don't want to mess with that, but fucking give Creepshow a chance. It's so much fun.
I don't know how people
can.
And it's weird. Yeah, I have to convince people of it. But I'm also going to put an argument in for Creepshow 2, where
Creepshow 2 is fun.
It's not as strong as the first one, but goddamn, there's a story in there that's one of my fucking favorites of all time. So
it's not that it's not as strong. I think where they fucked up is they made the stories longer and you only have 3 instead of 5.
Yeah.
I'm serious, because those stories are a lot shorter in the first one.
Yeah.
So it's more
effective.
bam, 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 bam. Versus in 2, they have to elongate them, and you get a lot of dead time in all 3 of the stories. Even though I enjoy that movie, I can definitely see where if they cut a little bit out of each story, you could fit more stories.
Yeah.
And I think that would have made a world of difference. That might have had to do with budget. Romero wasn't the director of 2, was he?
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But he was producer.
Savini was one of the writers. And
he did the makeup for the first one.
Yeah.
And
he was the creep in part 2.
Yeah, he was the creep, but he was involved with the special effects in the second one. So, but I was gonna say with the second one, the second segment, the raft, is the effects in it are goddamn amazing.
They are great.
It's such a don't get me wrong, the first one and the last one, those are still really good, and the effects are pretty good. But I remember watching Creepshow 2 just randomly when I was a kid, on HBO. And the raft just made such an impression on me.
It blew your mind.
Yeah.
Right? And the Creepshow is I can't think of any other genre. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm very biased and I love horror. But to have an anthology it's a very horror centric thing, in my opinion. There's not a lot of other genres that do that in such a way that it's a full length feature film. And Creepshow, is kind of an OG for anthology horror, and it's just it shows you what's possible and how like, oh, there could be this movie where there's several different short stories and they're all fucking badass, and that's just a really cool format. So check it out.
And what's amazing is it was a passion project with Romero with the first one, because there were these Tales from the Crypt and Creepshow comics back in the 50s, and then they all got banned because there was this whole thing where they decided these books were corrupting the youth.
Right, of course.
And this was Romero going, hey, I love these books. Let's make a movie of this. And that's where you get that.
Not even that, he got to collaborate with Stephen King.
Yeah.
I mean, King was involved with pretty much the whole...
That's a horror powerhouse movie.
And it's because
you got Savini on effects, you got Romero directing, and you got Stephen King in the background writing and acting. Come on.
And it's because of the success of Creepshow that you later on got Tales from the Crypt. Like,
no doubt.
Like, I don't think that would have gotten off the ground if it wasn't for them taking that chance with that Creepshow.
The horror anthology, Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side.
Absolutely.
You know, we're looking at now that, you know, we had Masters of Horror, which was like, again, more full-length movies, but still, the evolution of the horror anthology, as Hunter said and as Katie has said, it goes, you tie it directly back to Creepshow.
Yeah.
100%.
100%.
And that's a beautiful fucking thing.
And the longevity of that that title, Creepshow. I mean, they just came out last year with the Creepshow TV show on Shudder. I mean, it's a long-lasting, like, people still influencing people.
Season 2's around the corner.
Yeah.
No.
Creepshow holiday special, anyone? But yeah, it's iconic, so please check that out.
Yeah, I've got
I beg you.
Yes, we beg of you.
And I don't think the gore levels, the kills are good, but they're not, like, over the top. Like,
I think what I want to go with, kind of wrap up this the more lighter side of it. Scout's Guide was amazing, but I want to take it back to kind of what made that style of zombie popular.
Yeah.
And I got to go Return of the Living Dead 1 and 2. I got to combine those two.
Yeah.
Because those movies are not serious. They are I mean, there is gore, but it's not overt. For you know, compared for other zombie things we're going to get in later.
Gore.
Oh, Linnea quickly. Yeah. Sorry.
Shout out to Trash.
Yes. Go Trash. I mean, just especially the first one. The first one, above all else, it's like literally my favorite zombie movie. I've said this across multiple podcasts. I never fray. It's amazing.
And I keep reminding myself that we're talking to, because I'm like, who hasn't seen Return of the Living? Like, that's but there are people out there. Again, I just brought up Creepshow, Return of the Living Dead. Like, but there are people that's another plunge for them to take.
Exactly, because it is a step further into,
absolutely.
You know, because some of the lightheartedness that was in, say, for instance, Scout's Guide, is kind of not in there, because we're dealing with teens to young adults trying to get their fuck on and get drunk in a graveyard.
Right.
That's
basically it.
It's so, like, that's pretty much it. I mean, so part 2 deals with like some younger kids,
right?
But part 2 definitely brings in way more comedy. Instead of like
silly.
Instead of the first one is like, I'd say 65 to 35, you know, hard comedy. Return of the Living Dead's probably like 40 horror, 60 comedy, if not a little bit less, you know, a little more skewed.
And let's throw this out there. Anybody that's participated in the zombie walks or seen the zombie walks, and you hear everybody going, brains.
That's it.
That came from Return of the Living Dead.
It. Yep.
Romero zombies didn't talk.
Nope.
Yep. So when you see that, that's straight up. If you want to know the origin and you haven't seen it, watch Return of the Living Dead. There's your origin right there.
Yep. And I always try to mimic Tarman in my zombie walk.
That's right.
It's so easy. People like try to be stiff and walk.
Yeah.
But Tarman's so lucid.
Yes.
That it's so much more comfortable.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's your inspiration.
Yeah. I remember the first one I did with Hunter. It was like 2010, 2009.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So we could do a rapid fire of a couple more with no explanation. Just to kind of finish it up. I'm going with They Live in Fright Night.
Nice. Love it. I had What We Do in the Shadows, just because I think I just love that film, and I love the actors in that. And then for people that really love like story and characters and more of like a cerebral type of horror, I might say, at the risk of saying that because it sounds kind of douchey, but it's Karen Kusama's The Invitation. So Karen Kusama directed Jennifer's Body, and she's amazing female horror director. But The Invitation is basically just a dinner party, and it's just people hanging out, they're friends, but you realize people are really creepy. They got creepy stuff going on. So if you like that sort of just unsettling or unsettled atmosphere, that really creepy vibe, then check out The Invitation. Dinner party goes to hell.
I'll throw one more out before we get to the next level, is if you want the very easy level to get to for this director, Peter Jackson.
Yes.
Frighteners.
Yeah,
Yes.
good
Because
place. Yeah.
because you
good
delve
call.
into, it's a lot more comedy than horror.
Supernatural.
Yes.
Supernatural,
Yeah.
but it's still one of those where if you're gonna start to get into Peter Jackson pre Lord of the Rings, and you
there's
start with this,
so much to discover.
Start with this, and then go to his earlier stuff.
And I still run across people that have no idea that he did anything outside of epic movies prior to Lord of the Rings. I'm like, oh, buddy.
Yeah,
So much to learn. Frighteners was one of those VHS boxes back in the day that really scared me.
Yeah, the hologram.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the hologram,
Really
yeah.
did.
And I mean, we got an even more crazed ghost, Jake Busey.
Oh,
Like if I had a ghost run at me with that fucking mouth, I'd be horrified.
and who is his accomplice? Dee Wallace.
Is it Dee Wallace?
wow.
Yeah, I got her
Yeah.
autograph on a Frighteners photo, and it wasn't until I got there I went, oh shit, I knew you were in E.T.
Yeah.
I knew you were in Howling. You were the crazy chick in
That's so
Frighteners.
cool. No, I didn't connect that.
So that actually leads into a good start for me as far as the more intense. So this level, we're getting a little more intense where it's some of the comedy's kind of gone. It's not as lighthearted. It's definitely from start, horror movie, music, everything kind of, going forward type of movie. But again, yeah, I'm sure people have not seen this that like horror. And I got to go with 1981's The Howling.
Yes.
That movie's
Awesome movie.
fucking amazing.
One of the more overlooked werewolf movies too,
Definitely.
which is a shame because it's awesome, incredible.
And I don't feel like there's really any of the 80s goofiness in it. It's like
No.
straightforward,
Yeah.
it's dirty,
Yeah.
it's in the city. It's the part that takes place in the city. It's very dirty, very grungy.
Very
And
gritty.
then when it gets to the woods and the, what do you call it, commune part, because it's a retreat. No, it's
Right.
It's for the commune. It's just equally dirty, but now in nature. They made nature like gross because they're like this, like they just think, of course they want to survive as werewolves, but they're also like okay with being this fucking cult of werewolves that randomly just kill people
Yeah.
that come in. It's a very scary movie, and the ending of that movie.
It's yeah.
And I'm not even talking about the transformation. I'm talking about the fact it went from that to a fucking hamburger being cooked on a fucking grill in a diner. That
so
shit
good.
is ridiculous. Who thought of that? Yeah. Anyway, check
But yeah,
out.
it came out I think it came out the same year as American Werewolf, and people go to that first. And
that would
sometimes overlook.
That's
Howling
still on my list
more.
though, but that's another
Yeah,
good one.
yeah.
Bringing back the comedy of it.
Yeah,
that's
right,
definitely a
right.
comedy, but
Yes.
special
But more
effects on that. Yeah, exactly. And the fact that it was a
Iconic.
John Landis film, which
Yeah.
what other horror movies he ever done?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that up because that is on my list of like the next step because there is a lot of gore in that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot more hardcore as far as that goes, and the comedy is definitely more adult comedy.
Yes.
He meets the zombie friend at a porn. Yeah, I mean, come on.
And it's an Academy Award winner, Rick Baker.
Yep.
Won his for the effects in that. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
God. Yeah.
Which is funny to watch that movie and think Academy Award winning picture American Werewolf.
Right.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, I don't think it got late because it's hard for horror to get in, but I don't think it won under a horror genre though.
Well, yeah, I know, but that's
It
where
sucks, but it
literally
should be.
the effects
Yeah,
because
that's how horror always goes.
before that you didn't really get any horror movies even getting any attention,
No
even with the
nominations.
special effects
Yeah.
or anything
Yeah.
until that. So
Because they were just that amazing.
yeah.
Yeah, you all wait for that last transformation scene, and it's
Yep.
oh god, so good. Sorry, I'm not taking too much time. I can talk about those.
Howling's a great entry. That's a really good recommendation. So one that I guess I'm sticking with ones that are more current, but one I really enjoyed over the last few years was Green Room with Patrick Stewart.
Yes,
That has got
so
some gnarly gore in it with some animal bites and kills. But yeah, Green Room's great. And any movie that you get to see a bunch of Nazis get taken down is fan-fucking-tastic.
And one of my favorite things is it's this band and they're just desperate for a gig and
They'll play anywhere.
They get stuck in there, and so they know they're playing in front of all these fucking skinheads.
Yeah.
And so they go, you know what?
cover
We're
time.
gonna play,
Yeah.
Nazi punks, fuck off. Yeah,
And I love that moment where they're like, we might as well fucking do it.
yeah.
Fuck it. I mean, to me, that's true punk rock. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, fuck you.
seriously.
I'm gonna fucking play
Because that
this
is
song.
risking your life. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, literally. I was gonna say that, folks. If you want to know what I mean by intense, this movie literally defines as far as for a recent film to really capture that intense. It's so fucking anxiety driven. I mean, if your heart isn't racing and you're like fucking clammy from watching this film, if you're like focused on it, it fucks with you hard.
Absolutely.
It's so much
sort of
isolation.
Plausible. Like,
yeah,
it
is.
could really happen.
You go to the middle of fucking nowhere. I'm serious.
Yeah,
like,
for
it's
sure.
totally believable.
It's totally plausible. Yeah.
Except for Patrick Stewart being a drug dealing Nazi.
It's worth watching that for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the selling point. Is have you ever seen Captain Picard or Professor X as a Nazi? Well, here you go.
Here you go.
And he's selling heroin.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
But that's the perfect what I mean by intense. It just drives your heart rate up.
Yes.
Without you even noticing until all of a sudden you're like,
oh God.
Oh, yeah. Perfect fucking movie for that.
All right, I'm going to go into one of my favorite horror directors and a movie that doesn't get the attention that I think it should, Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah, great fucking movie.
Because, 2009, it's after all of his Spider-Man movies, and it was his first kind of jump back into
getting back to his
horror.
roots. Yeah.
And it's a fun movie. It has some gross out scenes, but it's and overall, there's some parts that do freak you out. You know?
Yes.
There's some very hardcore scenes in that. Like I said, the scene in the parking deck.
Yeah.
It was just done so well from a suspense point of view, and then when the thing happens, it's just horrifying.
Yeah.
With the effects too. That's a big part of it. Is like the effects and the close-ups and the
classic Raimi.
Yeah. And Raimi with a bigger budget.
Yeah.
But still being Raimi.
Yeah.
Well, just the fact and him coming back to horror because it had been so long. I mean, after
Army of Darkness was pretty much
Army of Darkness, and then he went into and he's got some great non-horror movies. Besides Spider-Man, A Simple Plan is a great thriller.
Yeah.
So he's got some other movies, but it was kind of comforting going into a Sam Raimi horror movie.
Yeah.
And it came out in 2009. The main girl in it, anybody that's seen Big Fish, she was the love interest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So and it was kind of cool to see her, and she kind of takes on like an Ash from the Evil Dead role, where she's just kind of fighting these demons.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, great fucking movie. So, and again, not high level gore.
No,
but lots of intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one I'm going to go to that was intense, and it's got high levels of gore, but it's scarce. It's not used overtly, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go with, and I'm specifying this for a reason because we haven't done the killer filler on this, the 1977 version of Suspiria.
Awesome. Yeah.
Dario Argento.
Yes.
Freaking. That is,
I mean, the opening scene with the stabbing the open heart is just fucks you in the face, like within the first 5 minutes. Like, you're like, what the fuck? This woman, like,
it's one of the best.
Stabbed in her actual heart.
It's one of the best opening scenes you'll have in a horror movie.
The
Like,
music,
it's
Goblin,
legendary.
I mean, oh.
So the thing, the score, I was going to go in that the score with Goblin adds so much to the intensity of that film. It's insane. And then when you get to see him play it live to the shots of the film, and you're like, oh,
it's magical.
It really is.
Yes. Too.
It's like yes, more people, yes, are there. Yes, watch, enjoy. Yes, it was magical. It's just like, oh god, because it's just the bass hits so much harder.
Yeah.
Everything hits so much harder when it's being played live.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I didn't want to intentionally go into anything about the remake until we do the killer filler on it.
Yeah.
Because
but I feel like Suspiria is great if there's that whole genre that these Italian
Giallo.
these Italian horror directors, and that's a good first step. And then you delve into because it gets more intense, and they get away with a lot more. Yeah.
Yes, I mean we haven't even gone to Fulci.
And then, Fulci, I think from the start, Fulci didn't have a Suspiria. Fulci had. Fuck it, I'm doing everything I want to from the fucking start, all right?
Pretty much.
Do you like your eyes? Well...
Yeah, sorry about it.
I'm going to find something to go in them.
Oh my God.
And that's just two of the most famous, like, well-known styles in that style. I mean, there are if you really want to go into it and this is your thing, this is your jam in horror, there's so much to go into, so
yeah,
it's a whole other avenue to go down. So
next one on my list is sort of comedy but really amps up the gore, which is Dead Snow.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Dead Snow, bringing another
Yeah.
zombie movie to the mix.
Yeah.
And the sequel is also fantastic.
Red
Versus Dead.
Red versus Dead,
yeah.
that's what it is.
So
That
Dead
one's-
Snow is.
So that was the second one's so crazy.
Absolutely. I can't remember if it's out of Norway or Sweden, but friends going into a cabin in the mountains, lots of snow, and they happen to uncover a horde of undead Nazis, like actual Nazis from World War II. And then all hell breaks loose and lots of gore, lots of entrails, lots of just.
But in snow, so it's all amplified.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah, it's
amplified.
great.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's full throttle. Yeah, for sure.
It's just white turned to red.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's carnage.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to go with it. I know I've brought this movie up on multiple episodes, but I just have to keep pushing on people. You're next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love you
Yeah.
next.
No, I'll never get tired of hearing somebody talk about that movie, so you're good.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's got your strong female lead.
Yes, she's awesome.
The kills are really fucking good. Overall, it's just a fun fucking movie to watch.
One thing I feel like that movie brought into the horror realm that was kind of new, and it was good that it happened when it did too, as far as for newer generations, is it didn't show the final girl being scared and by happenstance getting away.
Yeah.
She was just fucking people up
She
as
was
a ghost.
just badass.
I mean,
yeah.
before that we had Ripley,
Right,
But I mean,
yeah.
really, you didn't
Yeah.
have a lot of females that were just like, no, I'm gonna fuck this.
Oh,
From
no,
the start,
she-
yeah.
Exactly.
She Rorschachs the shit out of this.
Yeah,
Where she's
yeah.
like, at one point going, oh, y'all fucked up.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
find out.
that's great.
And it's funny because they briefly bring up her past at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
And she casually brings stuff up. And then you realize she is the most prepared person for the
In this
situation
whole-
they're in.
yes.
You guys fucked up.
Right.
So, and it's just
From start to finish, that
Start-
movie
yeah, you
never
just-
lets up. That
yeah,
movie
and
never
there are
lets
some
up.
scenes where you kind of want to winch. There's a one with fish line. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's a rough one.
Yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
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 That was painful.
But you're
Yeah.
gonna be okay. Just
Yeah.
watch it.
Just watch it. It's worth all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth every penny of.
That's one of those movies
And-
where people are like, my friend wants to watch horror movie. What should they watch? That's a recommended movie for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those that has like some, a couple random people, but Barbara Crampton, she hadn't
Yeah.
done a lot of horror stuff, and this was her kind of first jumping back into it. She plays the mom in there, so and it, kind of cool to see. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that chick from Reanimator.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We each kind of had two, but again, we can run through this with some rapid fire on a few that we still had on our list. I'm just going to run down. I still had The Descent.
Yeah,
2005's The
Descent is
Descent.
must watch.
Talk about
Must watch.
intensity. That fucking movie. That's just in darkness and just, oh God.
Intensity
Cave
in
dwellers.
so many different ways.
Right.
For what you just said, there's the cave dwellers, there's the actual caves themselves, the darkness, and also the claustrophobia.
Claustrophobia.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that freaks me out.
It's hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy that movie,
Yeah.
but I had to be in the right frame of mind to watch it.
Because it will fuck with you.
Because it's not even the creatures sometimes,
Yeah.
just the closed.
If you stop and
Ugh.
think that far under civilization, it's just yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then 1992's Candyman. That was a
One
high
of my favorites
intensity.
of all time. Yeah.
But again, people that still, I mean, I know there's a lot of hype around it because of the
new one coming out.
new one coming
Yeah.
out. But
Overlooked villain for sure. And it's an
Exactly.
incredible movie.
and then man, this is a tough pick because I'm just gonna name I'm just gonna name both. I mean, 1983's Videodrome and 1986 is The Fly.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Those get now. That's a good bridge into the next echelon as far as for gore, but these are definitely more intense.
Yeah.
Not so much just splastastic.
No.
Like, I mean, David Cronenberg is the king of body horror and just body transformation scenes, and then also bridging it with sci-fi. And Videodrome was an earlier portrayal of that. Not as earliest, but definitely an earlier one. And then The Fly was probably his masterpiece with that.
And not to be like super cliche, but both of those are really ahead of their time. Like
No
both of them
shit.
talk about themes and different things that still are applicable today in our society. So great movies.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any other ones you want?
The only other ones I had in mind were Deathgasm, Don't Breathe, and Train to Busan.
Aha.
Train to Busan, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that you're bringing some of the newer ones because, like, my brain went just what was my
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But like, there are so many new ones that definitely people need to latch onto, like, right out the gate.
Right.
You know.
I'm gonna throw one. I'll be honest. I was waiting for one of y'all to bring it up, but you didn't. Cemetery Man.
Ah, yeah. Great recommendation.
I was leaving that open. It's on the list.
Okay.
It's on the list.
I was gonna say.
See, I was going to introduce it as Della Morte Della More.
Ah.
The original title But
This guy. No, just kidding.
In America, we call it cemetery man.
typical Americans.
Yeah. Hey, boy, you call it cemetery man when you're in the States, all right?
1994's De La Morte de la More was
Yes.
a fucking stellar movie. It was hilarious.
Yes.
Not overly gory, but fun. I mean, the whole bus accident, and then they all come back to life, and he's got to kill all these Boy Scouts. Oh God, that was terrible. He's killing Boy Scouts.
But it's not at that
This is why we love horror.
peak level of gore.
No,
and
no,
stuff.
it was
So
not
I think
overly
it's
gory.
good. Like, I want to check out something. Good kills. Yeah, there you go.
No, he's yelling at whatever the leader of the town is. He's like, "Be a good zombie, get back in your grave." Like, who the fuck? Who thought of this?
The other one I'm going to throw out there is, obviously, even the casual fans are probably familiar with Pinhead, Hellraiser. Mm-hmm. Let's go another Clive Barker one that people probably aren't familiar
Oh,
with.
I know what you're going with.
Nightbreed.
Yeah.
Is so
Because
And that's
it's
a
almost
perfect
like
balance.
It's almost like you're watching a superhero movie in a way. Except
is.
The superheroes are fucking monsters
They're from
that
the
can
underground,
do
yeah.
fucked up, crazy
Yeah.
shit.
Yep, and it's a perfect balance of horror and fantasy.
Yeah.
And just talk about Clive Barker always touched on very satired and dark,
Yeah.
not the issues themselves, but that was his representation of the issues, like the issues in our society that people seem to have with each other.
Yeah.
He would represent them in a very fucked up way, and that it makes his movies amazing. Like Hellraiser is amazing, but it definitely touches on some other stuff and in a whole other niche of society. I think Nightbreed touched on kind of what we've been dealing with in the last 2 years as far as his differences and this kid.
Definitely.
It's blatant. That's what he's doing. But he does it in a really dark and very in-your-face, direct, fucked up way.
Right.
Because when it gets down to it, monsters start fucking people up. Like,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah,
you.
they're
I'm gonna-
monsters.
Exactly.
Well, they're
I'm still a monster.
Yeah.
And they have to be attacked. Like, that's the whole thing. Is
Yeah,
they're not-
exactly.
Yeah.
They're not going out there. Like, I watched that when I was like a kid, and it was the same time I was reading comics. And in the X-Men books, there's this whole race of mutants that live in the sewers called Morlocks.
Yeah, right.
And watching Nightbreed,
They
I was
are-
like,
yeah.
oh, these are like the Morlocks
Yeah.
who were like, I could fuck you up so many ways, but I'm not that way. You just decided I'm that way.
Right.
Wasn't the Morlocks a tie-in to Time Machine? Because they were called the Morlocks.
Yeah, also. But in the X-Men
Yeah.
books, the sewer-dwelling mutants that have their whole society were called the Morlocks. So, but yeah, that's where just reading the
I was
books
just-
and watching that at the same around the same time, yeah, it's just kind of like, yeah, they could do whatever they wanted. They look fucking evil as shit, but
Right.
it's man that's gonna fucking cause them to unleash.
Super cool movie too. Like just watching, like looking at the sets and the
Oh, man,
makeup
yeah,
and
the
stuff, and all the
makeup.
monsters are it's just really cool.
And I recommend anybody, and I'll bring this up anytime. If you're gonna check this out the first time, either trust us and buy this copy, or hopefully maybe you know somebody who has this copy. But the newest Scream Factory release of this film, where it's got the closest thing you're ever going to get to Clive Barker's real vision for this film.
Oh wow, cool.
And he says that in the beginning. He's like, "This is as close as I have seen to date of what I wanted this movie to be."
Nice. I have not seen that
So
version.
it's and when you watch it, you can see, because the footage is gonna you can only update it but so much,
Sure.
right? Because it's we're going from original footage.
Yeah.
So it's some of the footage that doesn't look as clean as the other footage. That's the
Right,
stuff
that's
they
what you're
added.
watching, yeah.
And
That's
it's really
really
cool. It's really, and he looked happy in the interview.
That's all we want.
Yeah,
We
right.
want Clive to be
it's
happy.
your shit,
Yeah,
man.
it's your
Like you
shit.
should be happy with it. Fuck. All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh boy.
Oh man,
Big guns.
Woo! Oh fuck.
this is bring out the buckets of blood.
The buckets of blood. So I am going to start off this gore-tastic comedy, mildly intense, very just nonsense-driven awesomeness. Because this is what it is. This is what it is. This is
Go
for the people that
on.
want all that stuff. I got to go with the 1985... Reanimator and 1989's Bride of Reanimator. I got to tie them together.
All right.
Those movies are awesome intros into just the ridiculousness. We got a fucking head in the dish that's talking. We got reanimated
There's
cats.
cunnilingus from the head in the dish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we got Barbara Crampton's boobies, which is always a fun thing. Woo! We've got heads exploding. We've got all kinds of stuff.
Cats in refrigerators.
If you like
There's-
Frankenstein, but you want Frankenstein on steroids, you need to watch Reanimator
Reanimator.
and then Bride of Reanimator.
Yes.
Hence the bride part, if you didn't get that. Oh, very Frankensteinish. Get it?
I need to point out to the listeners that you are wearing a Reanimator shirt. And
I
it's
am.
awesome.
I
Mega
am.
fan.
Yeah.
Well,
great.
and it's weird because I'm wearing
You wear
Suspiria.
Suspiria.
shirt, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, it's so
but I also
fun.
love Frankenstein.
Yeah, I actually just read the short story Reanimator for the first time last summer, and movie.
Oh, Lovecraft?
Yeah,
it's
Lovecraft.
great.
It's great. Yeah,
That's
movie is-
Dr. Herbert West.
Yes.
For those listening.
Right. Yeah,
is
it's
what I
not
mean.
called Reanimator.
Yeah, but I mean, for those listening, is Dr. Herbert West, and it's a great little short story.
Yep.
I think that they did a great adaptation
Me
of what
too.
they could with
They
this
just made
tiny
it,
little fucking
like,
story.
Took it even further. which is
Exactly.
great. Yeah. Very cool. Nice. I think what I'm going to start with is something that is on the other end of the spectrum, and it's just really fucking brutal, and that is High Tension.
Yes. Oh.
High Tension is Alexander Aja, and I've never
Yeah.
known how to pronounce his last name.
I always say Aha, but maybe it's probably
I know,
Aja.
yeah,
It probably
I don't
sounds
know.
better. Yeah.
French Extremity is the genre we're talking about, or subgenre of horror. But so yeah, Alexander Aja did Crawl, his most recent movie. High Tension is just brutal. Is the only way I can describe it. Like from start to finish, it's just straight. Like the stabbing is just intense and hardcore, and
We actually used a scene from that in our The Kills That Made Us panel at GalaxyCon in
Nice.
2019.
Yeah.
It was the decapitation scene.
yeah,
with the
it's
dresser.
just like you don't
Yeah.
get a chance to breathe. It just keeps going, and it
Yeah.
just keeps. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, I mean, dude's
love
giving
it.
himself head with a decapitation. Oh, God. And then actually the director, he did Hills Have Eyes remake.
Yes.
too.
Yeah. Right. Which
So-
you can see that.
But you can
when
definitely, watching that, you go, yeah. you
Not
can-
even the gore factor, but the colors
Yeah,
the same.
the
There's very like
style.
a tan,
Yeah.
kind of brownish like
Yep.
hue to the camera,
Yep.
and that's definitely.
His
I think he's
jam.
just trying to like show off heat.
Yeah.
I think that's
yeah.
what- it's very hot where we're
Yes.
at
And a
dirty.
great twist. So, if you haven't seen that one, definitely check it out.
Yeah, High Tension's amazing. It's a really good one.
I'm going to go with a very random ass one. Movie from 1982, Pieces.
Oh, I love
yeah,
Pieces.
the
Yeah.
Spanish
I
Texas Chainsaw
love
Massacre.
Oh,
Pieces.
man.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
so good.
Pieces.
It's the
Was it Mexican or Spain?
the
Spain.
gore is
I
just
don't know. Yeah.
the gore is just so over the top,
Yes.
and there's a whole thing where cutting up women to create this ultra mega
Right.
woman. It's just so amazing, and
Yeah,
it
it's so
doesn't
good.
stop, and
So good.
it's got the dude that was Pluto and fucking the Popeye movie. That's your kind of red herring that you're like, he's the groundskeeper. He loves his fucking chainsaw so much. You're like, all right, but it throws you different ways. And then the final scene, ouch, is the only way I can put it.
yes.
Ouch.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
just leave that. You got to watch it
Yeah.
to know what we're talking about.
But we
if we're
actually-
saying ouch and we just talked a bunch of shit, then it's pretty
And a couple
bad.
years ago, my other podcast, Beautiful Disasters, we used to have showings, and that was one of the first movies we showed.
Nice.
It was great to sit back and watching people react to some of the fucking kills. Like, what the fuck did I just see? You're like, keep watching.
Mm-hmm.
For people who love Pieces, you can actually buy the puzzle from the beginning of the movie. If you remember the puzzle
Oh,
that he puts
yeah.
together
Oh,
of the naked
nice.
lady, you can actually buy that puzzle. So
That's awesome.
put that on your shopping list.
No, that's fucking awesome. I need to buy that. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put that
I want to
together.
throw one in the kind of left field
Yeah.
that isn't as like all three of us know it, but that's something some people might still not
Absolutely.
have
And
heard of it.
it's- yeah.
Again, that whole bias, early 80s, but fucking check it
yeah.
out.
Pick a Friday, drink a bunch of beer, and have fun watching Pieces.
Exactly. This is exactly. This is for like I'm all in. Give me all that shit.
Yeah.
This is for that fan.
Give me the cheese. Yeah.
And I'm going to start around with this and I'm not going to take all of it because I'm going to share some of the movies. Some other people, because I know everyone's probably got something of this on their list, but I'm gonna go kind of rapid fire with this. We've got 1992's Brain Dead / Dead Alive. That is got to be one of the, if not the goriest fucking horror movie ever
Has
made.
to be.
Like, has anything really touched that as far as? No. There have been some scenes.
But not just the whole movie.
onslaught,
Yeah.
just fuckitude that is in
so
that
fun.
movie. And then Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah.
That's just
Love that movie.
gore-tastic. The kills in that aren't just nice kills. They're
not.
fucking like horrific kills.
And it's such great juxtaposition because the characters are so silly and lovable, but these kills are extremely like brutal and graphic, which is awesome.
yeah,
I love
mean,
that.
fucking wood chipper. God
Yeah.
damn. Oh, like fuck
Jump
Fargo.
right-
Watch this.
Yeah.
Fargo's wood chipper scene is shit compared to this.
He just jumped
Yeah.
right in,
Yeah, he just jump right in.
head first.
I love them.
He'll walk it off. He'll walk it off.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So a little rapid fire. So it's kind of on the same line as Pieces. It's just this random ass movie from the 80s called Society. So it's Brian Hughes' Society.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad someone brought that up. Oh, that movie's so
all
good.
I can say in a rapid fire style is that there's something called shunting, and you need to find out what it is. And it's
Wait a minute. Didn't you I can't remember. Didn't we have this conversation about Society on a GUI episode, like a flagship? And you said you hadn't watched it yet?
Yes, I
Did
have
you
now
just recently watch it?
Within the last year, probably.
Yeah, no,
it's
I remember
incredible.
that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
It's so
One of those movies where you
so
could warn
fucking
people that
good.
it's gory, but it's not.
But you don't know
gory,
how to
it's-
warn them.
It's disgusting and
It's
fleshy.
fleshy, yeah.
Fleshy's a great word.
Fleshy is the best way to describe it because it's not gory. It's fleshy. And if you're curious, watch it, and then you'll
watch
know.
it.
I
why
think that's
they
the name of the
say
episode.
fleshy.
I thought you nailed it coming around the gate, but no, it's not gory. It's fleshy. I think that covers
Yeah.
the episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
Next time you
Oh
call
my
someone a
God.
butthead, just
Yeah.
think of Society.
Yeah, I am a butthead.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So Society, and then one I haven't seen that I plan to is, are y'all familiar with the Guinea Pig series? So Guinea Pig series is from Japan. Apparently it's from the 80s. Apparently it's this dude who like had these manga comics, and he like just wanted to visualize them into a film, and it's supposed to be like the fucking most bloodiest, goriest thing ever. So I'm gonna dive into this.
I've not heard about that, but I will look
so
into
I'm
that.
Not, yeah, so I want to
Nice.
look into them.
All right, I'm gonna throw one quick one out. I've talked about it multiple once. Terrifier.
Yeah.
And
That's
you're
a
talking about
hardcore
there is
fucking-
one
that's an
kill
intense too.
that
Yes.
leaves a fucking mark on you. That kill, and you're just like, oh, it's
Yeah, no, that movie.
That's expert level. Like when we're suggesting movies, that's expert level of you go into this knowing you're gonna see some fucked up shit. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say I needed that movie? Like, I felt like for a little bit I had been watching some like AM radio horror movies, and then Terrifier came along. It's new, then fucking went
Hit your
there.
reset.
Hit my reset button, and I was like, yes, this is awesome.
I kind of felt the same
Yeah.
way. Like I remember seeing it because I had watched All Hallows Eve.
Yeah, right.
For those who don't know, there was a indie film that came out. It was it was an anthology
yeah.
series, and All Hallows Eve 2 is as well. But that's where you got introduced to Art the Clown, which is the main antagonist in Terrifier. And then I randomly I forget how I came across it, but it wasn't something that was free. I remember I was on one of the streaming services that I think it was Vudu, and they had a sale in October one year. It was like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And Terrifier was like $4 for the digital
Yeah.
copy. I'm like, I know that clown. Fuck yeah. Boom. And I watched it with Rachel, and
Oh.
she can't stand if she sees that image cross the screen.
Oh, no.
After that, no, I mean
Yeah.
she made it through, but
Yeah.
it's one of those movies where like, and Rachel likes horror. I mean, she likes horror,
But he is that creepy.
but he is that fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
And once you watch the movie, you're just like, it's
Yes.
oh,
Yeah.
I credit that movie, and then we just covered that Hatchet series,
Mm-hmm.
where because there's so much now paranormal movies, stuff like that the just straight kills, that main character killing people in crazy fucking ways. You don't get a lot of that
You don't.
anymore.
That's what I'm
No.
saying.
And that's
I
why
needed it.
yeah. And the first time I watched Terrifier, I was like, oh wow, I'm like transported back to the
Yeah.
fucking 80s
Yeah.
with these fucking just
Maniacs.
All right.
crazy looking
Yeah.
motherfucker, crazy kills.
I gotta explain for those listening. Hatchet franchise is done more old school. We're just killing everybody in gore. Terrifier brings it to a different level where he's like happy the whole time.
Yeah.
He's not angry about it. He's not like just killing people and
You
like
gotta
because
love
he's
your
pissed
job.
off they're in this fucking swamp. He's like, no, bitch, you trying to make fun of me and taking selfies, and now I'm gonna enjoy just cutting you through your vagina. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm gonna
Yep.
do. That's Terrifier.
That is
Yeah.
him.
It's
And he likes to play
fucking,
dress up though too. So
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for Terrifier 2.
Same.
God,
I'm so
fuck.
if there's one, I mean, like, I'm just counting down. I fucking cannot.
There,
wait
if
for
there's Halloween fucking kills, and Terrifier 2, honestly, are my like top ones. Candyman is there,
Yeah.
but I mean, Halloween Kills and Terrifier 2 are like what I'm looking forward to for new horror
Stratosphere,
movies.
yeah.
Oh, but anyway,
The only one that I would throw out there is another Tom Savini, The Burning.
Oh,
you got.
I've
to
never seen The Burning.
You don't-
I've never seen
oh,
The Burning. I
so-
know about The Burning. It's on my list, but I've never seen it.
which is a good solid
excited.
80s.
Yeah,
threat.
early 80s.
About a camp.
Better
It's not a
kill-
camp, right? Yeah.
Better
Yeah.
kills, I'd say, than the first couple of Friday 13s, in my opinion. For
Compared to the first couple, yeah. Now, not as good as I would literally say the first couple. Part 3 and 4 would have better kills, but compared to 1 and 2, Burning's got better kills.
Nice.
Yep. And the story behind the dude who worked at the camp. I mean, the whole story behind it and gets like, I forget why he ends up in the hospital, but then he can't help not smoking and he's got an oxygen tank and then he just sets himself on fire, but then he blames the fucking campers for setting himself on fire.
Of course.
Yeah, of
Obviously.
course.
And then if you've made it to expert level 10 of what you can handle, I present to you audition.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's level 10. You're
Ooh.
comfortable
Brutal.
with
Oh.
everything. Then you can watch audition.
Yeah.
And then you'll be not comfortable
Yeah.
with everything all
And
over
then
again.
you can't watch anything for a few days.
No.
Oh God. Yeah.
But yeah, you hear the groans. So I'm going to suggest
once you bring in
if
Miike
you're like,
in-
I want to challenge myself to,
If you anytime you're being Takashi, you just forget about it.
Yep.
Forget about it.
Yep.
That's it. All right. I mean, I hope we given anybody interested or that's already in there that just doesn't know. I feel like a pretty fat list.
Absolutely.
fucking
I
horror
hope
film.
y'all
And
do
we-
show notes. I hope people are taking notes out there.
Yeah. Well, no. I, as always, when we list a lot of movies, I probably need like 2 fucking pictures for this one. But I'll post a list.
Nice.
On social medias of like
Yes.
what we talked about, just in case. Exactly. If you're driving, I don't expect you to stop. Maybe writing or texting in the note while you're driving. Please don't. So don't worry. It'll be across the social medias and the webs and the inters and all that stuff, whatever the fuck you call it. Yeah. I don't.
And what's crazy is we all still have a
Oh, dude.
ton of
I
movies.
Yeah.
that was half
We're
of my
gonna
movies.
have to do a part 2 of this eventually. Like,
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed.
This was I only went through half of mine. It's fucking terrible, but in a good way.
yeah.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean the episode's over though. We still have one more segment, but before we get to that, we got to talk about our sponsors because sponsors.
Cha-ching.
First one being OGAmazon.com. Go to JulietPodcast.com. Look on the top right, click on links. Amazon is your first link. You click on that, it takes you to Amazon, you shop like normal, just through our link. So that just gives us a little kickback. Nothing more to you, nothing different you have to do besides go through that link, and we just get a little kickback.
Hey, we just threw out a ton of movies. Some of them are available on streaming.
I'm pretty sure all of them are, you should buy them all on Amazon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Some of
Which
them might
you
be
do.
available on streaming, but some of them, nope. You're going to have to get a hard copy, and Amazon's pretty good with finding some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, whether you're like a purist, you can find VHS, but if you're a DVD purist, we have those. Those are people like that too, and then obviously Blu-ray and 4K, and all the new versions from Arrow and Scream Factory and Vinegar Syndrome and all those are all available as well. Which I recommend those because those are baller fucking commentary shit and special features on those. And our second one being TeePublic. That's where all the merch is. The same thing. You go to the top right, click on links, second link into that page, TeePublic. Take you right to our merch page. We got like 39 or 40 designs now. Every show on the network has at least a design. Most of them have 2 to 3. And I mean, you get shirts, fucking mugs, banners, hoodies, onesies,
Laptop covers.
laptop covers. I mean, anything you
all
fucking
kinds
want.
of shit. So
So make sure to check that if you want to get some
They
GUI
do
merch.
temporary tattoos. So we can just
Are those even a thing anymore?
I would rock them.
see.
No, I don't think there's gumball machines in grocery stores anymore that have the. Remember, you used to be able to go get the little
Yes.
temporary tattoo. I don't think they
Yeah.
have those anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Back
I used to
when
rock
they
the
were
fuck out of
dying
those when I
art,
was
yeah.
a kid.
Back when there was different events, I would see sometimes people have them, but that's when you could be in a crowd and and they
No.
now I don't know, maybe those are gone now.
The before times.
Yeah. I miss those.
Anyway, God damn it, Hunter. And as always, go to JulietPodcast.com and check out all the other shows that are under the network. We've got a slew of shows, something for everybody. I mean, literally. So make sure if you're listening to From the Mouths of Madness, we are part of the GUI network. There's a whole network of content creators. So make sure you check that out. And now that that's over with, it is time for
Stump the Host.
All right, so Stomp the Host is a rapid-fire trivia segment where we ask the guests to bring a series of questions to ask the hosts, and then Hunter and I just get to brag. Hunter is up by 2.
I thought I was up by
no.
3.
No, I won last time.
I know, I was up by 4.
Oh, you're up by 3. You're right. Was.
But I'm not going to be that camp counselor that feels like they're so far away that they're safe and you're
See, now it's
Jason
12-9.
slowly walking towards me. I think I could get away. It's
No,
3, but
don't
I
get
could,
comfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, you're right. It was
comfortable.
12-8 when I posted last time, so now it's 12-9. Yep, you're right. Sorry.
Let's see how it goes.
All right,
I was looking at
Lowdown.
tip marks.
Got some work to do.
Oh, boy.
All right, so I get to pick who goes first.
Yes,
right?
you do.
All right, well, let's start with Lowdown. I'm excited about these questions, by the way.
Oh,
All right,
God.
so first question. In The Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses, and then the last one, Three from Hell, what is the name of the family that Captain Spaulding, Otis, and Baby are part of?
Firefly.
Firefly family. Ding, ding, ding.
And I'm not proud that I know that, by the way.
I know.
I know. We've talked about that.
You can just say Devil's Rejects, and you don't have to bring up the other movies.
I mean, honestly, if you need
Fair.
to, just bring up House of a Thousand Corpses. Just don't bring up the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Fuck that movie.
Oh, you guys. Okay. All right, Hunter. In Wes Craven's Scream, Randy plays a horror movie at the house party. What movie does he play?
I believe it's Halloween.
Ding, ding,
So
ding.
you need to know what
You
the fuck
have
that
to.
is. You have to know
It
what that
is
is.
Halloween.
Yeah, you
It's
have to
Halloween.
You have
because
to know what that
literally
is.
there's a scene. The music is chiming as he's laying on the couch going,
Yep.
Yeah.
Behind you.
Look
Yeah,
behind,
we're behind
look
All right,
you.
behind
1-1. So we actually already covered this question. It was which famous horror makeup artist did the werewolf transformation makeup in American Werewolf in London, but we already talked about
Whoops.
that on the show. So
Damn it.
I have a
Yeah.
different question.
I like
Can I
it.
get the point? Because I
Came
already said
prepared.
it.
No.
Damn it.
No, of course not.
I know.
That's not how we roll. So I've actually been on a Wrong Turn binge, so don't even ask me about that journey because it's been a lot.
Oh, boy.
But in Wrong Turn 2, there is a punk rocker, a really famous punk rocker who is in the movie. Who is that?
I'm
It's a punk rock dude who's in a lot of movies. He shows
Yeah, I
up.
feel like it's Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins.
Yes.
God
Ding,
damn
ding,
it.
ding.
That's
Yes.
the only one I knew.
No,
I
I've seen it, but I remember. But when she met, because I was thinking about somebody who shows up in one of the later ones, who's also in the horror world in
Yes.
5.
Yeah, Doug Bradley. Yep.
Yeah, but I was like punk rock. I'm like, no, it is Henry Rollins. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Hunter, this one's a little tough, so I'll be impressed if you get this. What is the name, and we just talked about this movie, Candyman. What is the name of the Chicago Projects neighborhood featured in Candyman?
Oh, fuck me.
I'm going to
tough.
kick myself for I'm drawing a blank, and you're going to say it. I'm going to be very
Oh,
upset.
I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it's like Shabrini Green.
That is literally almost right. Cabrini.
Cabrini
Yeah,
Green.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
Do
know.
you
It's
He
okay,
think
do
it's
I
a
get
point?
it? Do I get-
Yeah, I would say that's close enough.
Son of a bitch.
I get to decide that, right?
Yeah,
I
you
think
get to decide
the
that. Yeah.
point.
That's
all right.
I think that's how many have you gotten?
3.
And I just got one wrong. So
You have two.
So I get one. We each get one more question.
Okay.
Okay.
You have a chance to either steal mine and get yours, and that would be 3 and 3.
No.
This one is equally tough, but I believe in you. What is the name of the fictional Ohio city in Nightmare on Elm Street? That's tough.
Oh God. I know this, but I don't. Hunter, if you know it, I gotta give it to you.
When in doubt, I'm just gonna say Springfield.
Oh, so close. Springwood.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Springwood.
'Cause I was thinking Springfield, but I knew that wasn't right. I knew it wasn't right.
That's what I'm saying. When in doubt, say Springfield. Because yeah.
All right.
Son of a
We'll at least
bitch.
let you finish out.
This question is actually right up your alley, so I'll be very surprised if you don't get this. All right, so original Creep Show. We already talked about it earlier. You mentioned Lowdown has 5 segments. Name 2 of the segments, what their actual title is.
Father's Day. Mm-hmm. Hold on. I'm like, God damn it. The Crate.
There you go.
All right.
Yep.
Bing, bing, bing. You
I was just say, come on, man. We just talked about the
We're
creature.
debating which ones I wanted to say.
Well, then, what's the other
like,
one? They
the
creep
The
up
other
on
ones
you.
are The Lonesome Death of Jody Verrill,
Verrill.
Something to Tide You Over,
And
and,
they
they're
creep-
creeping up on
They're creeping
you.
up on you.
Yeah.
That's the one that a lot of people don't get because they don't
Yeah.
like the roachy
The
one.
roaches,
Dude,
yeah.
I didn't
That's
tell
me.
Rachel about that segment because she hates bugs.
Oh, me too.
I thought I was being funny, but it didn't turn out good for me. But like, because I mean, she literally loathes
Oh,
insects,
it's
and there's
awful.
so many
Yeah, there's so
live
many.
fucking roaches in that fucking segment.
Oh.
Dude, it really hurt me for about a week or so.
Oh, not great. In the
No,
Lowdown
but I
household.
mean, fair enough though.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
If you really hate bugs, yeah.
For sure.
But I think it's a movie. It's like they're not touching you.
Oh, Savini brings up one of the documentaries I've seen where he was like, he did all the effects, but he was nowhere close to that when they shoved. He said there was like, they injected those roaches through the prosthetic.
disgusting.
Oh my god.
So
And
disgusting.
he was
That's
like,
gnarly.
I was in the other room, you just shoving
Wow.
just roaches through all this
Hence
stuff.
why
so-
everyone should watch Creep Show.
Yep.
Yes. And he had to make it all the way through the movie to get to that. So there you go.
Yep.
No fast forwarding. Or yeah. Forward fast forward, whichever.
Fast forwarding.
We don't have that thing anymore.
No.
We don't have it anymore.
No.
I'm losing the terminologies. When was the last time you actually fast forward, not just skipped
Right.
segments?
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what we do now. We skip segments. We don't fast forward.
That's right.
So Lowdown, did you take that one?
I do take that one. 3 to 2.
Catching up. You told you couldn't get comfortable.
Yep. You were Jason catching
12
up
to 10. 12 to 10.
Fuck.
Yeah. I'm not. But see, I'm humble. I don't talk shit. I don't talk shit.
You wait till it's either fucking tied or he has the lead again. He's like, so what size of penis is the greatest trivia master?
Now, to be fair, I stopped doing that when I was in the lead last time. I used to be able to swing.
That was a long time ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, exactly. See, exactly.
It was so long ago, man.
To be fair. So that was awesome. Thank you so much, Katie, for being on.
Absolutely.
You mentioned your podcast earlier, but you didn't plug your shit.
Nerdcropolis. Check out my blog. I just mentioned I've been on a Wrong Turn, like Odyssey. I've watched all 6 Wrong Turn movies plus the newest one, and I'm going to be doing a wrap up on that. So check me out on Instagram. Check out my blog, and I'll be having some new podcast episodes coming out soon.
Fuck yeah. I am stoked to watch The Foundation because, like, I needed a hard reset because sequels just fuck me.
Yes.
No, because I love the first one. And I don't mind too. But
right. The rest they're a lot. Yeah. It was a
I've
chore.
only seen the first one. So.
Yeah, no, you talked
just
about
stop.
Leprechaun 2 is a chore.
Yeah.
Like that, exactly. Wrong Turns, chore.
Chore.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's like Tremors. Same deal. Just a chore to watch those.
That's why I've only seen the first Tremors.
The second one's not terrible.
No, it's not.
Past that, chore.
You know what? I got all the fill in the first one. Didn't need to go on. I mean, I'm sorry, but there's certain movies like, hey, it was fun. That's good.
all I need.
Like, no, there's a second one where there's, walking Tremor. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care. Like, I got my fill for the
Shout
first
out to
one.
Tremors.
Yeah.
I'll watch 1,000 of them.
Yeah, like you just keep making them.
Yeah.
That's great. There's people out there that are probably counting down, like, they're going to make another one. These ones are going to have wings on them. I don't fucking care. They were underground and Kevin Bacon said some shit. That's all I needed, all right?
But, as we mentioned before, we still have a crap load on our list. So what you should look forward to, though, is a sequel to this episode.
Yep.
And until that comes out, stay safe.
Join us at GUIPodcast.com. In a world ravaged by movie studios that keep rehashing the same things, only one podcaster has the guts to make it even worse. Join Mike the Hobbit as he traverses the internet to bring you some of the best and worst ideas for reboots, remakes, and reimaginings of some of your favorite and least favorite TV and film properties. Ideas like a John Waters He-Man movie, Fantastic Four the musical, and Aliens, done entirely with marionettes. What podcast would bring this evil upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey guys, Scotty Big Daddy Preston here. That's right, the Geek Father, asking you to join me here every other week with friends and family of the GUI Network as we go through all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent. So remember, join us or cry.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as, what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.